Therapy is ruining some relationships, especially after cheating. And nobody is talking about it, so why not me? I work with a lot of couples that are going through infidelity recovery in the past and especially right now. And I keep seeing the same pattern over and over again. They're doing couples therapy, but they're also in individual therapy. And instead of the work supporting each other, it starts pulling them in completely different directions. Let me show you how this plays out, right? Recently, I began working with a client, and this has happened in the past as well. She finds out that her partner was having an affair, and obviously she's hurt, she's angry, but she is very clear. I want to stay. I want to rebuild this relationship. I want to try, which is why we're going to couples therapy. She goes to her individual therapist and share everything. And the therapist respond with, if this happened to your daughter, what would you tell her? If this happened to your daughter, what would you tell her? You see, that's a question, but it's not neutral. This question is leading her somewhere, and it's planting doubt. It shifts her focus away from what she said she wanted and start pulling her toward leaving her relationship. And this is where things start to break, because individual therapy is built around you. It's built around your pain, your healing, your growth. Individual therapy is based on self-actualization. It's becoming the best version of yourself. It's letting go and removing anything and everything that's holding you back. So when a therapist only hears your side and they only know your experience, the direction becomes predictable. You deserve better. You shouldn't tolerate this. And why are you still there? And now you're sitting there trying to rebuild your relationship while this voice in your head is getting louder. Why am I here? And that's not because you decided that, but it's because it's been fed to you. But what if that is not your goal? What if your goal is to rebuild this relationship, to understand what happened, to repair it, and actually create something stronger? Because again, 70% of affair is due to an emotional need not being met in the relationship. Well, that's a different process in couples therapy, where we're just not focused on one person, we're looking at the relationship. I tend to say, you're not my client, you're not my client, the relationship is. I have the best intention for the relationship. What happened there? How did we get there? What made this relationship vulnerable to an affair? What needs to change moving forward? How do we rebuild back trust? We're creating accountability. We're helping two people figure it out. Is this something we can actually repair? Here's the truth. Most people miss. If your individual therapy is not aligned with your relationship goals, it can slowly start working against your relationship. And for this client, it's exactly what happened. And I also want to be clear, individual therapy is not the problem. Misalignment of individual therapy is the problem. Bias is the problem. Projection is the problem. Countertransference is the problem. If your therapist is not supporting the direction that you want to go in, it creates more issues, because now you're in two different rooms getting two different messages, making my job harder. One is saying, okay, you want to build this, let's go for it. And the other one is saying, leave this. And you're stuck in the middle trying to figure it out and trying to decide what to follow in regards to your life. So if you're going through this, you need to have a real conversation with your therapist. I want you to ask them directly, can you support me in rebuilding my relationship? Can you support me in my work in infidelity recovery? I don't just need you to heal me. I need you to support the path that I am choosing. Because healing yourself and healing a relationship are not always the same path. And if the space that's supposed to help you heal isn't aligned with what you're trying to build, you won't just feel confused. You'll start destroying the very thing you said you wanted to save. And for me, as a couples therapist, it just makes my life a lot harder. Too often am I having to hear, so my therapist said A, B, C, or D. Okay, great. Are you aligned with that? No. but it's starting to have me think about A, B, C, or D. This has happened too many times. So again, as the client, if you're in couples therapy and you're working on infidelity recovery, or your relationship is in crisis and your goal is to make that relationship work or give it the best chance that you got, and you're also in individual therapy, you need to verbally communicate your intentions to your therapist and ask them, can they support you and can they align with you in that process? If not, they're countering my work. They're countering your goals. They're countering everything that we're trying to establish here. I would also love to talk about the therapist perspective, because a lot of countertransference can come up, especially when it comes to infidelity. I've noticed it. I've been around it. I've conducted peer supervision or provided supervision to other therapists that are dealing with clients with infidelity. I understand it's a very triggering topic for many, and it's a subgroup of therapy that most are not trained in. So therefore, we tend to do too much to some degree, or these clients tend not to be appropriate for us based on our biases, our own experience, or our knowledge base, and that can create issues. So again, individual therapy might be the worst thing you could do for your relationship, especially if that relationship is in crisis, especially if you and your therapist are misaligned on what your goals in regards to the relationship is, and especially if you're trying to address infidelity recovery and rebuild back trust. That's all I got, baby. Let me know what you guys think. As always, talk to Mac. Peace.